Just need a
You
pulse.
ready?
Just a
You
button.
guys ready? All right. I'm going to go ahead and call the committee of the whole of the Park Ridge City Council Public Safety and Public Works Committees to order for Monday, May 8th. Can I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Moran.
Here.
Alderman Wilkening. Here. Alderman Melissus.
Here.
Alderman Schubert.
Here.
Alderman Meldosian.
Here.
Alderman Mazuka.
Here.
Mayor Maloney.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you. First item on the agenda before we get to the committees is citizens who wish to be heard on a non-agenda item. Is there anyone here tonight that wants to speak on something not on the agenda? Now would be the time. Yeah, if you could just come up to the podium here, give us your name and address if you wish, and you have a few minutes anyways.
Thank you. Jamie Rubin, this is Brian Chaplin, and we are two of the four founders of the Vine Street Barbecue Community Outreach, not-for-profit organization that we formed to do barbecue competitions. And our first one will be here on Saturday, August 12th, in the library parking lot and on Summit Avenue. The event is kind of split up into two events all into one, which will be very exciting. It's a Kansas City Barbecue Society sanctioned barbecue competition at which teams will cook ribs and chicken to be judged by KCBS, that's Kansas City Barbecue Society, sanctioned judges, certified judges. Public is welcome starting from noon to 9 to watch the competition, as well as to enjoy a day of fun family events that'll happen on Summit and part of the library parking lot. Everyone's welcome to walk up and down and look at the teams competing. In addition, we will have great barbecue vendors serving amazing barbecue for purchase. We will have a kid zone that is going to be primarily administered by Brickton Art Center. They have volunteered their time for 6 hours throughout the day to do a barbecue-themed arts and crafts for the kids. And there'll be some form of jumpy house or jumpy houses as well. We have Holtz has volunteered to do beverages, and we have a number of local as well as outskirts bands willing to contribute music for the day. Our organization is a non-for-profit 501c3 entity. Donations and sponsorships above and beyond the expenses for our event will benefit the Maine Township Food Pantry and the Bare Necessities Pediatric Cancer Foundation, both of whom are involved and are extremely happy to benefit from the event. What am I missing?
No, and I'm actually passing around some more information.
So maybe you have seen these in some storefronts. We have a nice list of sponsors. Thank you. We have a nice list of sponsors coming on board. This is a unlimited sponsor situation given the need to donate. Please spread the word. We have several of these with us if you would like to take one with you. And we also have smaller versions if you have a need for a smaller version. Can we answer any questions that you have?
I guess I have one to start, and that's, I'm assuming you've been working with city staff to get permits and everything squared away, so we're,
Yes. So
Okay.
Cheryl Peterson has been a very good friend of ours throughout
Awesome.
this process. She's brought us through all of the paperwork, and I attended a city meeting at which we had a lot of questions and answers with police, fire department, safety issues. And the food vendors, I believe, are working with Cheryl as well for purposes of the temporary food permits.
okay, perfect, yeah, John.
Will there be power at the stations for the barbecue entrance to cook with?
No. This is a charcoal and wood competition only for purposes of your If you wanted to, there are pellet smokers out there that require electricity, and if you really wanted to cook with that, you'd have to bring your own little mini generator. The KCBS rules restrict using any electricity for purposes of a heat source, so any sort of electric smoker is not allowed.
Yes, Alderman Mazuka?
Thank you. You had mentioned that you're going to have a number of vendors where you can get barbecue. As a fan of burnt ends, I just want to have it known publicly. We've spoken once already. My understanding is that there will be burnt ends at this competition, or at this event, available for purchase. And that dream of mine that I was going to not have to drive 50 miles to get burn ends of any kind of quality, that is really going to come true.
We are doing everything in our power to make that happen.
Thank you so very much. Appreciate it.
I also would like that.
Thank you.
Yes, Charlie?
And being a two-day-old certified Kansas City barbecue judge, I want to know if you might reconsider brisket as a third category.
If everyone is willing to have, make this an entire weekend, we can do a brisket competition. It'd have to be a Friday and a Saturday, or a Sunday. And if this goes well this year, we'll consider a two-day event for next year.
Fair enough.
So are you going to be a certified judge?
Well, I was hoping I'd enter my brisket. I might have to be a judge now.
Are you, have you found all the contestants that you need, or are you still,
So that's a good question. Right now, we are limiting ourselves to 20 teams, given the space and it being our first year. We have about 8 teams right now, and our focus right now is, while we have some teams from outside of Park Ridge, we really want local Park Ridge competitors. This is, I'm really glad you brought this up. This is not a professional cooking event. This is made for, and it's called a backyard competition. It's made for those people who really enjoy cooking in their backyard. Their friends love their barbecue. Maybe they've competed before in another competition, maybe they haven't, but you do not have to be a professional cook.
so say like the city council could enter a team if they so chose, and maybe throw out the gauntlet to the other elected bodies in town, like the Coofs over at District 64, Park District, challenge them to see who has the better barbecue.
We wanna get schools competing against each other, parents from one school competing against, but, 20 we thought 20 teams was a great way to start it out. And we know of several teams that do not have their paperwork in yet. I think because they think, well, it's not until August, but, we're trying to get things really in a nice wrapped up package by the time summer starts, so we can concentrate on kind of some of the more administrative stuff.
Okay. And then I assume you have a website, Facebook page, all that kind of stuff, so if people want to kind of check out more information, they can do that?
Yes, should we say that out on the record here?
Yeah, there are probably at least 3 or 4 people at home watching our meetings, so,
Yeah, so the website, which is where you can find all the information, including team registration forms, sponsorship information, as well as volunteer, where to contact us if you want to be a volunteer, is at vinestbbq.org. That's vinestbbq.org. And you can find us on Facebook at vinestbbq.
excellent. Anybody else? All right, well, that's awesome. Thank you. We'll
Thank you.
look forward to it.
Thanks for your support, everybody.
Thank you. Any other citizens who wish to address the city council on a non-agenda item? Seeing none, we'll go into the rest of the agenda, public safety.
All right, first up on public safety agenda, action items under the police department. I'm looking for a motion to approve fiscal year 2017 purchase order for grant-related expenses with University of Illinois, Office of Grants and Contracts in the amount of $17,000.
Second.
All right, first and second. Chief, you want to give us a little bit of background on this?
We're trying to clean up this is the mental health grant, and there still remains one cost out there for producing the publication that's been produced for the end of the grant, writing it all up, lessons learned, and all those things that we did in the grant. Right now, it's with the COPS office, but this money will help finish the publication and get it published through the COPS office. But there's been some delays. We have the money's all in the grant. It's nothing from the city. It's all through the grant.
Any questions from the Alderman for Chief Kaminsky? Okay, out to the audience. Any comments, questions? Seeing none. Back to the Alderman for discussion. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, we'll do this by voice vote. Say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. All right, any discussion items?
Nope.
And department head report, you want to walk us through some of the items in the packet?
Sure. We have the monthly report for April. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to respond to those. Followed by the complimentary letters, get some nice letters from citizens. We then have the red speed report, which is pretty much one of the lower months of 56%. We're usually in the 60s and 70s, so it shows that we do have checks and balances with that program, so I'm very pleased with that. The volunteer work hours, I mean, they're doing a great job, and this is the high season. I'll be talking with them on Wednesday night. But if you look at the special events for the remaining summer months, as we would call them, there's over 28 events that they participate and help us out. And I keep saying, I don't know how we would be able to do it without the volunteers, because they do provide a great service. So we're just very grateful we have them all, and we can use them. Last thing, advisory board, the program seems to be going good with UIC on the cab. You've got those minutes. And I did want to mention a couple other things. Just so everybody knows, Farmers Market starts at the end of the month, and we're closing down a part of the street on Prairie. So I just want the public to know that. There's signs there now, but I don't want anybody surprised on Saturday morning if their car's there and we have to tow it for the farmer's market. So just want everybody to know well in advance. Something else that came up, and I just wanted to mention too, in reference to the police memorial. I apologize, we ran over a little bit. I really do try to keep it to 20 minutes, but sometimes it's difficult. But Jerry Sillick, our social worker, as you all know, there's a celebration in DC, and she was invited by the COPS office to be one of the therapists there for the kids as they go through the program for the week, to be there at their cost to help out with the kids of officers who have died in the line of duty while they're attending the memorial service. So I thought it was quite an honor for her to be asked to do that. So I just wanted to mention that. And if you have time I put in the flyer, we, as part of the mental health program on the 22nd of May, noon, in front of the library. And Mayor, I was gonna ask you if you're available to stop by. I'll send you an email. Yep, but we did this last year, just as, a lot of things go on in May, but May also was Mental Health Awareness Month. And there's just a short program between us, Lutheran General, NAMI, and if you could stop by, we'd appreciate it. And that's my report.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your efforts putting this evening together.
Yeah, thank you, thanks for all coming.
Chief Soren, it's not the,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
can I ask a couple questions on the department head report?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Chief, you mentioned in your report that you've tabulated the top 10 crash intersections
Right,
for the year. Can we get a list of those?
sure.
I think that getting some transparency and some, some publicity, I guess, of where those problem intersections are might help people be a little bit more vigilant in those
The only thing I
particular
worry
areas.
about with that list, the way we publish it, We publish it with the number of accidents that occurred at an intersection. It doesn't calculate in that formula the traffic volume related to the accident. So I often worry about that data being skewed because it doesn't show volume versus accident. It just shows accidents. And that was always my concern, but I'll bring it to you for, get it all, to all of you.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
just,
no problem.
I understand that the percentage issue is a relevant piece of data, but if we're bothering to tabulate it, I think it makes sense to publish it. The other question I had was on the Community Advisory Board. I noticed in the minutes that of the 21 members, we still had, we had 8 missing. Are you finding that you're able to function effectively with so many people being absent from this board?
You know, that's why when we did the board, I always try to overstaff it, because my experience with dealing with any of these groups is that people tend to fall off because of other related activities. They're volunteering their time and stuff. And it's my experience that that's happened, so I'm not surprised. You know, but people show up, but we can still function. Oh, yeah, we've
No,
had.
I was just wondering if you're
Yeah.
getting the kind of continuity, because I know that this was about the 21st century policing strategies and kind of taking people through the process. Are you getting with the people who are showing up, are you getting enough consistent, attendance to get that continuity you need to get to the end of this thing?
Yeah, I think the discussions have been pretty lively and interesting. I think if you ask the people on the board, they've come up with some great ideas and things, so I think it's been very worthwhile. But it's always hard to get everybody there at the same date and time. Even though we publish it a year in advance, the dates, and try to get consensus, people have emergencies, things come up.
Yep.
So,
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Chief Kaminsky? Yes.
You mentioned briefly that there's, for the farmer's market, they're gonna close down the Prairie. Traffic coming down Main Street headed towards Tui, what are they gonna do?
yeah, that's what I'm worried about. They're gonna have, when they turn, they're gonna be going through the alleys.
But that's how a lot of people get to the farmer's market.
Right. We've got to watch it. That's one of the drawbacks of them closing Prairie.
Are we bringing in Citizens Patrol and CERT people to
I'm
help
gonna
control
watch it the
traffic?
first, John, I'm
or-
gonna watch it the first couple of weeks to see how that is. I'll have my day shift people there. I've not asked them to pay for anything extra. But I will have on Saturday, we'll have the CSOs around, and I want them to monitor that. I told them when we were doing this, I had reservations about the traffic flow, because you're right, there's no place for the traffic to go. And I'm a little concerned about the alleys becoming a thoroughfare for vehicles. I am. But we're trying to cooperate with the farmer's market. They really want to make this work, so we're trying to work with them to make it.
What was their, why the request to do this? So they could get more vendors in there?
Yes.
And do you know, do the vendors pay a fee each week to be there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I just,
Yeah,
if we
I
do,
don't know- I don't
I don't
know
wanna
how-
ask them to pay for anything either,
Yeah.
but if they're collecting more revenue, then that could offset any additional fee we ask them to pay to cover extra staff.
Let's see how it goes. It may not even be an issue.
Yeah.
I'm usually there at least one Saturday a month. I usually go and sit there too. And, but I am concerned about it, and I expressed that, but we're gonna try to make it work, because I know they wanted to do this, and we'll do everything we can to make it a safe environment. But if I see issues, I will come back and say something.
And if people talk to the businesses along Main Street?
Yes, yeah.
To let
Because
them know?
I would have preferred that we close it all the way at Main Street.
Then you almost have to close Main Street at Fairview.
That's right. But, like I said, they do want to try this, and we're going to cooperate as much as we can and try to make it a safe environment. But I will be watching it. That's why I wanted everybody to know ahead of time, because I don't want them, right after the first weekend, I get all the calls on, it'll be Tuesday morning, because it's the Memorial Day weekend, so,
Okay, thank you.
but yeah.
Great. Anything else for the police chief? All right, on to the fire department. Chief Sorensen, are there any action items?
We have no items, Mr. Chairman.
Any discussion items?
No, sir.
Any department head report?
No, sir.
All right.
It's a police night. We thank them for their work. They ran the table,
Thank you for yielding the limelight.
did a good job.
Anything else from the Alderman under public safety?
A reminder, we do a quarterly report for fire. So the next one's at the second quarter is at the July cow.
That concludes public safety. On to public works.
All right. 3 action items for Public Works this evening. The first has me make a motion to approve a 1-year extension to the contract for Elm Tree Injection Program, PW-FY17-02, to Robert Kinnuckin?
Kinnuckin, yes.
Kinnuckin? Gallicanakis? Kinnuckin, Tree Experts and Landscaping Company in the amount of $60,000.
Second.
Thank you. Brandon, you want to?
Yes, Mr.
Pretty
Chairman,
straightforward in the
This is a
memo.
1-year extension for Kinnuckin Tree Experts. They've been treating our elm trees for the past couple of years. They've done a great job with a high success rate, and staff recommends a 1-year extension with a no rate increase.
Thank you very much. Questions from the alderman? Being Alderman Mazuka. I knew we'd get something here.
Just to get it out there. So we're gonna retreat the original 107 trees that we identified, and that was about $45,000 worth of work. So we're gonna have another 15,000, we think, give or take, more to inoculate even more trees than in the original pass.
Correct, we want to try to add more. We'll be starting our inspections in the next week or two, so I'll have a better idea of how many extra or additional trees we'll be treating at that time.
All right, thank you.
Other questions from the alderman? Seeing none, out to the audience. Any questions or comments? Final comments from the alderman. All right. We'll do this with a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you. Item number 2 has me make a motion to approve a 1-year extension to the contract for tree and stump removal, PW-FY16-20, to Trees R Us, Inc.
Second.
Thank you.
This is also a 1-year extension for Trees R Us, our tree removal contractor, as part of a 3-year agreement with a 2% CPI adjustment. Last year, they were substantially lower than the other 4 bids, and they've done outstanding work for the city, and staff recommends the 1-year extension.
Thank you. Questions from the alderman? Up to the audience. Questions or comments? Back here for final comment. Voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, and the final action item this evening has me make a motion to approve an ordinance establishing the 2017 list for mandatory replacement of defective sidewalks and placing it on the May 15th, 2017 council agenda for final reading.
Second.
Thank you. You want to take it, Susan?
I can take it. If there's any additional questions, maybe Susan can help out. But this ordinance is for the mandatory sidewalk square replacements. Each year, Public Works engineering staff evaluates the condition of the walks citywide and identify those needing replacements. This is a cost-share program with the residents at $90 per square, which is $4 less than last year. The ordinance will be placed, like I said, May 15th, 2017, on the council agenda, and the list of addresses for the squares will be included at that time.
And the notices haven't gone out yet. They will go out once that's approved, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions from the alderman? Questions or comments from the audience? None. Final comment? Alderman Mazuka?
Just a reminder, prices don't always go up. We cut the price $4 this year, so good thing to continue to bid aggressively, bid out your work aggressively. Sometimes you get lucky and you save people a little bit of money. So nice job to drop it from 94 to 90. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll do this with a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Excellent. Any discussion items this evening? Nothing?
There are no
Any
discussion items.
department head reports. Wayne picked the winner of the Kentucky Derby, we all know that. That's probably why he hasn't come back. He might not ever come back. One thing I wanted to bring up, and I was gonna mention it to Wayne, I know I mentioned it via email to him, the resurfacing of some of the streets in the future, if we could make a note to not do the ones that border schools until after school lets out. It was a point of contention this morning. I was getting yelled at as the alderman for the Field School area, around Field School, and actually across the street, they're actually demolishing a house at the same time. So there were multiple sets of crews there trying to get their trucks, and where they cut the curb away, every 10, 20 feet where they were replacing segments, there's giant holes with barricades in them, so nobody knew where to drop their kids off or park to pick them up. It was mass chaos. So in the future, anytime we're doing a border street to a school, if we could push till after the school year, that'd be appreciated. Any other? Oh, and then the other thing, because this came up last year, the handicap, or the pads that go on the downslopes. Yeah. The plastic, is somebody supposed to rip that off? Because last year people were giving us grief on Facebook because it was just left on there.
It's supposed to be pulled off.
Whose job is it to remove that?
Who's ever installing it?
Okay, so they're supposed to take it off, okay. Great, thank you very much. Any other public works items for this evening? No, that concludes public works. Thank you.
Any other city business? Any new business? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.